as per usual, this is unscripted. And for a change, it's also unedited. I just wanted to prove a point that if one wanted to have an argument, one doesn't actually need to write a script in advance, rehearse it, and probably record it a few times to get your point across. It is possible to just speak and verbalise your thoughts in a way. I do say a lot, it transpires, and I also say of that nature a lot, and I do this a lot. So there's that. And I say so a lot, which I believe I picked up from Foodie. So there's that too. Can't win all the time. We are being spoilt today. Foodie has uploaded another video. A 10-minute rant about some obese women that we know and love who have the actual audacity to talk about Foodie and her size and weight and eating habits. Now, we all know who these people are, yes, and we all know how Foodie feels about them, yes. Well, this time, Foodie has set aside a significant part of her day to write a script, to obviously rehearse it, judging by how she read it out, probably hit the old thesaurus, judging by the vocabulary, and sourced actual material of the other YouTubers to put into a video. And then she says they're obsessed. Well, I had a watch. I pulled a lot of faces during its entirety, and I have a few things I'd like to say. Offs. So, let's have a look at it, shall we?
So, people on the internet like to get on my case on the daily about what I eat, my weight, my body, etc., etc.
Right from the get-go, she's got her sanctimonious I am better than thee voice on, and you could bet yourself $1,000,000 that if she'd actually done a face-to-face video, she'd be wearing her red lipstick.
More specifically, there is no group on the internet who loves to talk about my weight and eating habits more than the degenerate reaction channels of GorlWorld.
That's because GorlWorld are the only group of people who react to you. It's like saying, oh, these basketball commentators are really nasty about basketball. GorlWorld is your audience, therefore GorlWorld is going to respond to your content. Yes.
You are probably asking yourself, well, Foodie Beauty, you also talk about your eating habits and weight online, and they are merely reacting. So what's the problem?
Foodie, you put your weight, your actual body, historically, your eating habits, your desires to lose weight and get fit, and everything online, and therefore have invited commentary and questions, much in the same way as you have invited questions and commentary about you being a Muslim because you have uploaded historically a lot of content about it. Much in the same way as I have invited questions about having my tattoo on my fucking forehead. Yes, it's as obvious as that. It's not like you've been secretive about it. It's not like you've been prudent on who you choose to share your information with. Had I come on here wearing a fucking balaclava so nobody could see it, then I could get angry when people talk about it. But no, it's there for the entire world to see.
Well, dear zombie audience of these reaction channels,
Well, I'm about to patronise you a lot and act all superior and better than thou, because I think I have a point and I'm going to make it, and you can sit on it and spin. Except we saw you at the campsite and you did sit on it, but it didn't spin.
who all collectively share one brain cell, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you what is wrong with them criticizing my weight and eating habits. First off, they offer no valid criticism.
I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that we could only offer valid criticism. Hang on. Your criticism isn't exactly valid either. Maybe we should all just fuck off and not say anything. You see, an opinion's an opinion, whether it's valid or not. A criticism, whether it's valid or not. They're allowed to say whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't have to be valid. Maybe they're just aiming for entertaining, and therefore it's valid for a different reason. Who are you to decide what's valid anyway? Who am I to decide what's valid anyway? Who's anyone to decide what's valid anyway?
All they do is spew hate and self-projection.
The irony of that sentence. Chef's kiss.
Let's start with Yaba from the YouTube Underground. This reactor decided to do her reactions off screen. Now, it is my firm belief, and that's just me, that if you are going to talk shit about someone's looks, you should have your camera on at the very least.
And I am of the opinion, if you're going to go online and talk shit about other people's appearances and looks, you should cam up without any filters on, at the very least. I don't use filters. I wear makeup, but makeup without filters. So I guess that's one step. No makeup at the moment because I wasn't expecting to do another video today. See, age spots. This is it's a fatty lump I can't seem to get rid of. Wrinkles, blah, 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 whatever. Grey hair, bad tattoos, odd eyebrows. So, yes, you show your face. Sort of. Alright. Sure, they should cam up. It's their right not to, obviously. But the same argument is you should not use filters if you think you have the right also to go online and criticise people's looks and appearance. We know what you look like on the GoPro. Okay? It kind of nullifies your argument because the amount of filters you use, you're just 1 degree of separation away from actually using a cartoon avatar.
But oh wait, she did cam up very, and emphasis on the very, briefly, not too long ago. So here's what we saw. Puffy, red, fat face.
And you're about to argue that she's obese. Possibly morbidly obese. Okay, fair enough. Does that mean she can't criticise you in the way that you, being class 3 or above obese, I think they call it now, or super morbidly obese, you're not even that. You actually go above the current classifications. Your weight, your BMI doesn't actually have a classification. Just saying. I'm obese. Yeah. Used to be morbidly obese. Now I'm just obese. And I'm aiming to be overweight. And I'll be happy with that because I'm of a certain age that if I became slim, I'd look like a deflated balloon. Still, however, she might be red. She might have a puffy face. Do you know what she does have, though? A chin you could see. An actual defined chin. Not with, no offence, but yours is hammocked, I believe they like to call it on Twitter. So yes, she's overweight. Yes, she's obese. Yes, she's probably morbidly obese. But she's a good £100 at least lighter than you are. So, by your argument that other obese people can't talk about you, should it be people that are as obese as you can't talk about you? Because in that case, the only one out of all the people you are talking about who has no right to talk about you is Shani. Not the other two. Because they're smaller than you. Therefore, they can have an opinion by your argument.
A clear indication of obesity. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but according to science, one does not acquire such a physique from eating 1,200 calories a day.
There's no need to correct you because that's true. But has she actually ever said she only eats 1,200 calories a day? You claimed to be eating within a certain calorie deficit every day, and yet you either fail to lose weight or you gain weight. So what is your point?
So let's hear what this skinny queen has to say about what I put in my mouth, even though she clearly doesn't live off of quinoa and kale herself. So, again, in my opinion, one should not have a hate channel making fun of fat women when one is also porky themselves. Am I right? Yalla.
Porky. What's the weight limit for being able to actually criticise you? Or is it a BMI thing to criticise you? Because I'm 5'8" and I'm 104 kilos currently. And my BMI is, I think, 34.7. Is my BMI too high to criticise you? Curious. Just wondering. Do I have to prove my height as well? Or are you just going to accept me on my word? I mean, I'm curious. Am I too big to criticise? Please, enlighten me. Maybe I'm too old to criticise you. Maybe only people in their early 40s can criticise you. I mean, I can criticise you because I've lived in the Middle East lived past tense, in the Middle East for over a decade, so there's that. I can criticise you because I was actually married to a Muslim, so there's that. I can criticise you because I was actually a Muslim revert for 6 to 7 years, so there's that. What else? Yes, bullied as a child, can criticise you about that. Grew up without my father, whatever. So yeah, and I have been over £300, so there's that. Please enlighten me, Foodie. What am I not allowed to talk about with regards to you? Because, one shouldn't throw stones in glass houses, according to the ever so wise Salah in a previous video quite recently. Yes, have you been giving him cliff notes and cue cards and an auto prompt for what to say? Because he's definitely following in your shadow now, isn't he? I'm not going to actually show you what she said, because it's quite frankly a waste of airtime. It's basically the normal stuff. Some criticism that did apply to the point she's trying to make, and then basically a personal attack on lifestyle, appearances and things of that nature, which have absolutely nothing to do with the argument she's trying to put forward. So which we must question, why must Foodie attack people's home lives, life choices, decisions, their parenting styles, their sense of style, who they choose to have relationships with, and even their fucking genitals, in order to win an argument? And the answer is very, very simple. When your argument is lacking credibility, or could be questioned as being invalid, the only direction you can go in is to make you look better by making the other person look inferior. This is, and I've talked about this in length before, an ad hominem fallacy. In other words, instead of using logic, instead of presenting actual facts, you argue by attacking the character, the history, the personality and the appearance of the person you have the beef with. And it is an arguing style that is used by somebody who does not actually have any valid commentary. Yes.
All right, let's cleanse our palates from that shit and move on to another hypocrite. Shani for Satan. This woman has too much of a history to go over, such as child neglect, making OnlyFans content while her autistic son is in the other room, and also taking back the man who abused her autistic child after he got out of jail for doing so.
Shani, by all appearances, is an awful, awful, awful individual. But what has any of those things you've just mentioned got to do with your argument that other fat people can't criticise you for being fat? What does it have to do with it at all? And why do you feel it necessary to bring it up? Your attempts to discredit other people by airing their dirty laundry online makes you look vindictive, spiteful, bitter, pathetic, and a whole host of other things that also make you an unpleasant, unappealing person too.
The most obvious fat hypocrite of GorlWorld is none other than the potato girl herself, another moron hiding behind an avatar, too scared to show herself for the past couple of years. But again, she did very briefly show herself, and this is what we saw.
And what exactly is your point? Not only do we have to meet a certain BMI requirement to comment on you now, do we have to be on a certain scale from 1 to 10? You know, that this person's a 5, this person's a 7, she's a 10, but is there a level there too where people can't comment on you as well? Are only supermodels allowed to comment on you? And Hollywood actresses and people of that nature? Who can comment on you, Foodie, according to your brain?
People are wondering why I don't have any more photos to show of her. Well, because, if you have any new ones, any recent ones, please feel free to forward them.
If someone chooses not to show their face or put their photographs on the internet, you should respect it. I would ask, where is your sense of decency? But you don't have any. And, yeah. Don't ask other people to get their hands dirty on your behalf. This is your battle. If you want to find stuff out, fine, you do the hard work. If you can't be bothered to do the hard work, shut up.